Welcome again to the Comet Opal mine in Koroit. If you look up at the sky, and again I hope there's not too many flies getting in the way. It's a cloudy day today. Yesterday there was about an inch of rain, but these clouds are supposed to blow away this morning, and tomorrow and the next day are supposed to be pretty clear. So I thought, since there's no rain right now, I would go underground and give you a little bit of a tour. The generator's running. The generator's running over there. The hoist is moving. The hoist is working. And here's the front door. This cable obviously is attached to the hoist, but the cable's also attached to the bucket, which is down there about 50 feet. The bucket is used as an elevator for equipment, but also mainly to get rid of mullock, you know, the waste material. So you dump the waste in there, pull a rope down there, the bucket rides up on the ladder, which is like these tracks, and then dumps over there. So I'm about to climb down the ladder with your company, and I hope you enjoy the journey. See, there's a few spider webs. There's one of these joins right here. One of these joins about every 10 feet. Now, as you can see, regular old sandstone here on the way down, but we're going to go a few feet deeper, and I'll show you something I think is kind of interesting. So at about a depth of about here, it's about 18 feet. Take a look at that. That is what's called a sandstone boulder. So it's different than the ironstone that we find down at the bottom. This is sandstone, an unusual sort of sandstone concretion. Sometimes it contains opal. Of course, most of the time it doesn't. There's another sandstone boulder there and another one there. And I'm sorry, there's a fly that's just up in my glasses. Anyway. So we have found some of these sandstone boulders with a little bit of color in them. These don't appear to be carrying any color. The sandstone boulders don't seem to occur at any specific level without any particular rhyme or reason. They just sort of appear, disappear. Sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. Although they do tend to occur at a more shallow level than, well, at least at this lease here on the Comet. The Ironstone is deeper. So there you can see the bucket down below, or at least I hope you can. And you can see the sky up above. And now we'll continue the descent. And here we are. As long as we're here, maybe we'll take a little look around. Oh, there's the bucket that I was telling you about, of course. So there's the bucket attached to that cable that goes up there to the surface. This is ironstone. Sandstone up above, clay down below, ironstone in the middle. There's a little bit of potch there. Some more interesting looking ironstone. Let me just check my phone for a second to make sure that you're seeing what I hope you're seeing. Well, I'm sorry that light provides too much of a hot spot in the middle. but you get the idea. There was a little bit of color in here, so I took a quick stab at it with a jackhammer. And maybe we'll go for a little walk now. So we'll take a look at the floor, make sure there's not any undesirables, any snakes down there. Look up at the ceiling to make sure we don't disturb any bats. And you see this clay that's crumbled along the edges. That's unusual. Usually this drive is nice and tidy. However, before the season started, there was unusually heavy rainfall. Well, west of here and then up into Karoy too. And so some water did get down into the mine, and when the water came up on the edges here, it caused some of that clay to crumble. See, there's some more solid ironstone. Those pipes I use for air circulation when I'm digging a new drive. And as I said, this clay is not usually here. The clay, I mean the clay on the edges of the floor. And you can see the floor. You can see how it was muddy, and it's since dried out mostly. And you can see more ironstone. Is there opal there? Well, there's not. Oh, well, look at that right there. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting, actually. I hope you can see it okay. Is there opal here? I don't know. There have been plenty of times where I've been mining, walking by some area for actually years, and then decide to turn and stick a pick in there and have discovered opal in just a couple of inches from where I've been walking for years. So there's bound to be, actually I can see some potch there. Yeah, there's bound to be opal here that I'm just walking past. However, even after doing this for 20 whatever years, I still don't have X-ray vision. I did find some stuff in there, and I think that there's still some more interesting stuff back in there. That is sunlight from a 3-foot shaft that goes up to the surface. There's the ladder we came down, off in the distance. And this tunnel continues to go up a bit farther. And that's a tunnel back to an old drive. Yeah, there's several spots here that I think are interesting. I mean, it's good-looking ironstone, and I know opal came out of not too far away from here, so there's a reasonable chance that there's opal not too far away. However, I only have 2 arms, and there's only 24 hours in the day, so I can only dig in so many different spots. You can see that ironstone is at a much higher level here, and then it takes a dip, and then it goes up, and then it takes another dip. Now, opal is sedimentary, so often you'll see the opal occurring where there's a dip or a change in depth of the ironstone. However, that's not always true. One of the things about opal mining is there's a lot of rules of thumb. And one of the main rules of opal mining is there's an exception to the rule. Well, that was just a brief tour. I wanted to show you the ladder. I wanted to show you those sandstone boulders. And I will be digging again soon. And we'll show you... Oh, now see, there's color actually there, although I don't know if you can see it, honey. There is color right there. And you can see some nuts. There's some nuts in the wall right there. If you want ironstone, I have kilos and kilos, tons and tons of ironstone. And some of it actually has opal in it. Here's this little crawl space where I was having a bit of a stab. I think I'm going to dig straight ahead there. I found some beautiful stuff up in there. I have to clean it out and then take a poke in here a little bit farther and see if I'm going to clean it out and dig a proper drive in here, or just do that little sort of stab and grab. There's some interesting nuts back in there. You can still see off in the distance there, you can still see some nuts in the wall. And a dry nut there, another nut up there. And then there were some opalized wood boulders in here as well. So as you can see, it's a mishmash, a variety pack of different types of material, different levels. The opal comes and goes. It's tough to predict, but that's the nature of the game. Well, thanks for watching. And then there's a interesting nut up in the ceiling. I'll have to dig that out. There's several other tunnels through here also. I will spare you the details of going through them, and I think now we're going to go back up, climb the ladder up to the surface. There's the cloudy sky up above. And so now we'll go up about 50 feet. After jackhammering and working hard for a day, it's good to pause for a moment or two before you climb up the ladder. You don't want to start, see there's a couple of, those are just daddy long leg spiders. Occasionally I encounter redbacks here in the shaft. Now we're back on the surface, and the sky still is cloudy. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.